In 2008, the disappearance of 2-year-old Kaylee Anthony captured the attention of the nation. What started as a missing child case quickly spiraled into one of the most controversial and polarizing trials in modern history. At the center of it all, Casey Anthony, a young mother whose actions, lies, and behavior left the world questioning what really happened behind closed doors. Today we're diving deep into the timeline, the evidence, the courtroom drama, and the unanswered questions that continue to haunt public years later. This is the story of Casey Anthony, the trial that shocked America. Casey Anthony maintains that she had nothing to do with the disappearance and the death of her 2-year-old daughter Kaylee in 2008. The story of Casey Anthony and her daughter Kaylee was captivated the country ever since the toddler was first reported missing in July 2008. The saga began on July 15, 2008, when Sydney Anthony, Casey's mother, phoned police to report the 2-year-old granddaughter Kaylee had been missing for a month. For a fucking month. With the world watching, the phone call set off a painstaking search of the missing toddler, an intense investigation into her then 22-year-old mother, Casey. Probes into Casey's cell phone, computer, and vehicle resulted in several damage findings, including internet searches from chloroform and neck breaking, as well as traces of chloroform and human decomposition in the trunk of her car. As a result, Casey was charged with first-degree murder in October 2008. 2 months later, Casey's skeletal remains were found in a wooded area less than one-third mile from Anthony's family home in Florida. Anthony family home in Florida. This fuck shit is fucking ridiculous that you can fucking go on to fucking. It's the amount of shit I'm hearing about her still denying all this shit is the shit I find ridiculous most about this entire fucking case. How can they have all this evidence against you and you're still gonna deny everything? Like, what the actual fuck? Throughout her 2011 trial and in the years since her controversial acquittal, Casey has maintained that she had nothing to do with Kaylee's death. But her explanation had fucking bullshit. But her explanation of what really happened has been inconsistent from the start. Casey initially told police investigators that Kaylee was taken by a babysitter. Then, during her trial, she claimed that Kaylee accidentally drowned in the family swimming pool. Later in 2022, Peacock documentary Casey Anthony, where the truth lies, she placed the blame squarely on her father, George Anthony. Fucking make up your damn mind, bitch. Shit. Fucking, you a terrible ass liar, motherfucker. Shit. Accusing him of staging Kaylee's drowning to cover up his alleged sexual abuse of his granddaughter. Bullshit, motherfucker. Bullshit. Now George Anthony is speaking out against his daughter's allegations and putting his story to the test. On the new A&E crime reality show Casey Anthony's Parents, The Lie Detector Test, which premiered on January 4th, George and Cindy take the lie detector test on camera while recounting their vision of events surrounding Kaylee's disappearance and death. Throughout, Casey and her parents have opposing narratives of what happened to the 2-year-old Kaylee. One thing for certain, the Anthony family had been irreparably broken by the tragic event of it and its fallout. From the difference between Kaylee to Casey's controversial acquittal, here's the timeline of Casey Anthony's case, murder trial, and life today. July 16, 2008, Casey's case began in June 2008 when she left the Anthony family home with her then 2-year-old daughter Kaylee. She didn't return for 31 days. Fucking, that's a very long time. No. July 18, 2008, 30 days after Casey and Kaylee left the family home, Casey's mother reported Kaylee missing to police. I found out that my granddaughter has been taken, Sydney frantically told the dispatcher. She has been missing for a month. Her mother had finally admitted that she had been missing. Yeah, now you missed fucking 31 days is when you fucking admit that shit. There was something wrong. She continued, I found my daughter's car today and it smells like there's a dead body in the damn car. Uh-huh. At that time, Casey claimed she hadn't seen her daughter for a month, and her babysitter, Zenaida Zanny Fernandez Gonzalez, kidnapped her, Kaylee. Bullshit, bitch. July 16, 2008, Casey was first arrested on July 16, 2008, one day after her mother reported Kaylee missing to police. She was charged with child neglect, giving false statements, and obstruction. The charges resulted after Casey claimed to police she had left Kaylee in the apartment of her babysitter Zanny, and that she worked at Universal Studios, both statements that turned out to be false. You lying ass bitch. July 2022, later that month, police named Casey as a person of interest in the investigation around her daughter's disappearance. On October 14, 2008, a Florida grand jury indicted Casey on the first-degree murder charges in connection with Kaylee's death, though her body had yet to be found. I still think I don't think they should have really put anything on her for murder until the bit with the body not being found. I just feel like that could come back to bite you in the ass. But that's just me, to be honest with you. Charges that carried a potential death sentence. December 11th, of over 5 months after Kaylee was reported missing and bundling, let me just make this clear. In no way do I think it did come back to bite them in the ass. In the way I do believe this lady is a fucking murderer and should be fucking tried and all fully guilty. I just like I said, I feel like it's kind of they kind of jumped the gun a little bit, but like I said, that's just me. That's just an opinion. December 11th, over 5 months after Kaylee was reported missing, her remains were uncovered by Orange County meter reader Roy Kronk in a wooded area less than a mile away from Anthony's home in Florida. Kronk later tested. It's just fucking ridiculous. This shit happened right here in motherfucking Florida where I live. Kronk later testified during Casey's murder trial and said he had seen a white object in the same location that he was 99.99% sure was a human skull. In August 2008, 4 months before Kaylee's remains were found. After calling the police the next day and meeting the deputy at the scene, Kronk testified the officer looked one way and then the other. Then he berated me for half an hour of wasting his time. For wasting his time. When Kronk was in the same area in December 2008, he stumbled on Kaylee's remains, recalling on the stand, I did not know what it was. I never lifted it off the ground. This was a very horrific thing for me to find, obviously. His testimony differed from previous depositions when he claimed the skull had fallen out of the bag he lifted 4 feet above the ground. May 24, 2011, Casey's murder trial began on May 24, 2011 in Orlando, Florida, and lasted over 6 weeks. The defense, led by Jose Baz, claimed that Kaylee accidentally drowned in the family's pool, and George helped Casey cover up the accidental death by burying the toddler in the backyard. Bays and Casey also made several bombshell allegations, including that Casey was sexually abused and molested by her father George since she was a child. Claims George vehemently denied on the stand. The prosecution, meanwhile, focused on Casey's various lies to both her parents and police, as well as mounting circumstantial evidence, including incriminating Google searches for terms like how to make chloroform and on the family computer. Bitch, you over here searching that shit on a family computer thinking they weren't gonna come back and find that on when in Lily, did you not think they were gonna find that shit? Or you just like, oh, let me just search this up. Dumbass bitch. Was no one Google searches on the computer. No one makes an accident look like murder. Jeff Ashton, then the state attorney for Orange and Osceola counties, in Florida said to the jury. July 5th, 2011. On July 5th, 2011, the 12-person jury found Casey not guilty on all serious charges. Bullshit. Y'all don't know what the fuck y'all talking about. Charges including first-degree murder, manslaughter, and child abuse. She was convicted, however, on 4 counts of lying to the police. At least you did something right, don't motherfucker. So, 2 days after the judge delivered the verdict, Casey was sentenced to 4 years in prison and a $4,000 fine. It's something. It's not what the fuck she deserves. In 2016, she launched her own photography business, Case Photography, but had done very few projects. A source told People at the time. People sources also claimed Casey still resided in Florida at the time, received financial support from some of the members of the legal team. She got she's got enough money to live, but not enough to really do anything. A source said she sort of lives like an old person on a fixed income without much going on in her life. She's bored and she complains about boredom all the time. March 2017. At the following year, Casey broke her silence for the first time since her acquittal with a series of interviews given to Associated Press. She continued to assert that she did not know what happened to Kaylee in the final moments of her life. I don't get quoted by Casey, what she told the outlet. I don't give a shit how about what anyone thinks about me. I will never will. I'm okay with myself. I sleep pretty good. Fucking dumb. Fucking sleep pretty good, and why the fuck would you say that? Even if you weren't guilty and then you weren't the one who killed you were somehow innocent. Why the fuck would you say something like "I sleep good at night" to a motherfucking fucking dumbass? I understand the reason people feel about me. I understand why people have the opinions that they do. I'm still not even certain as I stand here today about what happened. Yeah, you said you sleep pretty good at night. If you were actually a fucking caring mother, and if you were actually cared about what had happened to your daughter, you wouldn't have fucking you wouldn't be sleeping good at night. You'd be fucking having nightmares every fucking night about what happened to her, and be fucking bawling your eyes out at every fucking interview, and you wouldn't give a shit about fucking trying to make money off your fucking daughter's case. October 2019, the Anthony family was left fractured from Kaylee's tragic death and Casey's subsequent murder trial in 2018. 10 years after Kaylee's disappearance, Casey was no longer speaking to either of her parents and had limited contact with her brother Lee. At the time, George revealed in an appearance on Dr. Oz that his relationship with his daughter was irreparably broken. We're not connected anymore, he said on the show, and that hurts. I wish I could be part of her life, and I would never feel comfortable around her. Can't trust her. Yeah, of course you can't trust her. She fucking killed your granddaughter. Who's to say she won't come back and try and kill you? However, in 2019, George appeared to soften his stance towards Casey in another appearance on Dr. Oz in October 2019. He revealed he was ready to forgive his daughter. And yet she don't give a shit and still want to fucking do everything. Gets fucking ungrateful ass bitch. In December 2020, she filed paperwork to start her own private investigation business called Case Research and Consulting Services LLC. However, state records reveal that she does not have a Florida private investigator's license, and as a convicted felon, she will not be able to obtain one. So you're trying to fucking make a legal business now? Okay, got it. That was deterring Casey to a source told People at the time. Though the company was in the very early stages, Casey had big plans to help others facing serious legal charges. Why? Because you fucking had legal charges against you in a fucking murder trial where you were the murderer? Okay. Yeah, totally. That'd be totally a good reason people would want to do shit. What kind of sense does that make? She knows what it's like to be accused of something that she didn't do. The insider explained, "No, you fucking did do it, bitch." She wants to help other wrongfully accused people, especially women, and help them get justice. In November, look, I just started doing research into her to try to figure out if possibly there was some reason that she might have not did it, or like I said, I wanted to see if she actually was innocent or guilty or what to believe. So that's why I did the research into her. After doing the research into her, she is I could not find no evidence against her that was making her seem innocent in any way. Almost every bit of evidence I found was proving proving further that she's guilty. Especially the fact that she fucking looked up how to make chloroform, how to freaking that fucking show no fucking significant sadness in the fucking disappearance or death of her daughter. I see no fucking way that she could possibly be not be the one who killed her daughter. Especially she wants to help other wrongfully accused people, especially women, and help them get justice. Bullshit. November 2022, Casey's statement about what happened to Kaylee had been inconsistent since the first day of the investigation in 2008, but she has always maintained that she had nothing to do with her daughter's disappearance. Casey originally told police that Kaylee was taken by a nanny, then during a trial, she alleged that her daughter died in an accidental drowning and she and her father covered up the death. But following her acquittal in 2011, Casey kept a low profile, leaving the public to wonder what really happened to 2-year-old Kaylee. But then in 2022, Peacock docuseries Casey Anthony Where the Truth Lies, Casey provided a detailed account of what she alleges happened when Kaylee died in her first on-camera interview. Casey placed the blame solely on her father George. Fucking blaming ass bitch. Casey claimed that she hadn't been feeling well on June 16, 2008, the last day Kaylee was seen alive, and went to lie down with Kaylee. The next thing she remembered was being woken up by her father, who was asked where Kaylee was. The two went looking for the dollar, and it was George who found her, according to Casey Anthony. "He was standing there with her," she said in the docuseries. "She was soaking wet. He handed her to me, said it was my fault, that I caused it. But he didn't rush to call 911, and he was trying to resuscitate. I don't know why I can't pronounce it. Resuscitate her. I collapsed with her in my arms. She was heavy and she was cold." Casey added, "He takes her from me and he immediately softens his tone and says, 'It's going to be okay.' I wanted to believe him. He took her from me and he went away." According to Casey's 2022 account, she believed Casey was alive over the next 31 days and was following her father's instructions to behave as normally as possible. She also speculated in the interview that George may have staged Kaylee's drowning in order to cover up that he had been abusing his granddaughter, but admitted that she didn't know for sure. George, who denied Casey's claims of abuse in court, has never charged was never charged, outraged and appalled at his daughter's outlandish allegation. The only wrongdoing Casey admitted to in the documentary was being dishonest to investigators. She needs to admit to the fucking truth, but okay. I lied, she said. My lies have been a kernel of truth in them, but I lied because that's what I was told to do. Casey's claims about George in 2022 docuseries Casey Anthony Where the Truth Lies left him outraged and appalled. According to the source close to the Anthony family, George is keeping a pretty strong exterior, but this tears him up. The source said he still loves his daughter and he loved his granddaughter, so this is beyond difficult for him. In 2022, Alexandra Dean, the producer of Where the Truth Lies, revealed to BuzzFeed News that while Casey still does not speak to her father, She does have limited contact with her mother, Cindy, and her brother Lee. Casey does talk to her mom and her brother, Dean. She doesn't talk to them often, and I wouldn't call their relationship close, but they do communicate. January 4th, 2024. Here it goes. Over a year after Casey's mom saw a case in the Peacock docuseries, her parents George and Cindy put their answers regarding their granddaughter's disappearance and death to the test. The couple participated in A&E series Casey Anthony's Parents, the Lie Detector Test. It was appealed on January 4th, 2024, where they took polygraph test on camera. In one clip, Cindy says she believes her daughter 100% knows what happened to Kaylee. Yes, I believe 100%, and I kept hoping upon that she would confess. Cindy revealed in the special, and that's the only reason I put myself through all the drama, all her drama and everything. March 1st, 2025, Casey announced the launch of her TikTok and her Substack newsletter, saying in a video that if she wanted to be a legal advocate, she needed to advocate for myself and also advocate for my daughter. As a proponent for the LGBTQ community, for legal community, women's rights, I feel that it's important that I use this platform that was thrust upon me and look thrust upon you by what? The fucking murder trial where you killed your daughter? Now look at the blessing as opposed to the curse that had been since 2008 said. Fucking, I don't know what you mean. She legal advocate saying she's a legal advocate because she fucking had legal experience from when where she was convicted as a fucking murderer, where she murdered her fucking daughter, because she is a murderer. Ain't no doubt about it. That ain't everything that I've found. Like I said, has proved that she's just more and more evidence that she is a murderer and murders her own daughter. I don't know why the hell she won't can't admit that shit. Like, man, it's because, like I said, she's a fucking murderer, and she's trying. Most murderers, or some always, as we find out on most true crime podcasts, most murderers are fucked up in the head and just can't have psychological problems where they can't fucking comprehend shit. Guarantee she probably somehow is fucked up in the head, and is, and she, like I said, whether it be her wanting to party and shit like that. Bitch, you could have called a babysitter. You could have fucking asked your parents. You were somehow fucked up in the head. Your parents gave you the best possible life, which has happened with most murderers, most serial killers. Have they can end up having the best possible life ever, and still end up going down this path, and no one knows what happened or how it could have happened. She is extremely fucked up in the head, and I don't like I said, I don't see any reason she should be any fucking like legal advocate. And probably my favorite thing about her entire story is her making Nancy Grace come out of I think it's Nancy Grace. Hold up, it is it is no, it is Nancy Grace. But my favorite thing about the whole case is her making Nancy Grace coming out of her retirement just for her hatred of her. That is honestly the funniest and best thing about the whole fucking case. Go make this woman come out and just instantly come down and start raining hell on your ass. Like I said, she is truly a horrible person, and I hate that fucking she has a man and hasn't even gone through fucking. She's young enough to right now, so she can have another kid, and I'm on that honestly scares me to death that there could is a risk of possibly this happening to another kid, and I don't think in no way in hell should she ever be able to have another fucking kid. I think that if she has another kid, it should automatically be taken from her and put in foster care. I do. There's no way in hell she should be a fucking mother again. She is. She obviously killed Kaylee. I true. I That little girl would have been 20 years old. I didn't realize how old this case was until I started doing more research into it. I was like, I was probably like, for 2008, when I was probably like six ish. This little girl is 2 years younger than me, and it's just I fucking I can't even. I have no words. Casey Anthony is a horrible ass person, and I it is extremely sad and tragic what happened to that little girl, I'm glad she's in a better place right now. I'm glad she don't have to deal with an abusive as mother. I feel bad, truly bad for her grandparents, for Casey Anthony's parents, who had to put up with now being accused of fucking sexual abuse. Casey Anthony coming down on her father's name, saying all this awful shit, just trying to get the shit thrown off her. Bitch, you don't even know what the fuck you. Just shut up already. Go shut up, you fucking good girl. And how about you fucking do us all a fucking favor and go and turn yourself into the police and tell them the truth of what really fucking happened and stop lying your fucking ass off. Maybe put that fucking fire out on your fucking pants because you are truly one of the most hated people in America. And that's always gonna be able to be the title of my this episode is Casey Anthony, the most hated woman in America, because she is truly the most hated woman in America. Has Nancy Grace hated her? Has every fucking she can't even get on a social media platform without everyone's becoming immediately outraged about her fucking presence on it. You are no Casey Anthony. You are nowhere near a legal advocate, kid. You are not anything. You are the most hated person here, and you need to go sit down in a fucking cell. And honestly, if it was my decision, you would have been. It's probably too late now to even have that option, but back then you would have had the fucking death sentence. In my opinion, I'm just being straight up with you right now. You do not deserve to be fucking you you took your daughter, a little girl's life. You deserve to have your life taken, bitch. And I'm just saying, like I said, you if it was up to me, you would have been at the fucking death sentence. But like I said, I'm not trying to start shit. I don't want fucking hate on me, or I don't want fucking her committing suicide because of something I said about that. But I believe that fucking child killers should automatically be death sentence because that is a fucking horrible crime, and you are a fucking child killer, bitch. There's no doubt about it. There's every bit of evidence leads up to you that you are a fucking child killer. Um, During segments of this, we will be posting little clips of. We're gonna go and go over the clips of Casey Anthony's calls from jail right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and let that in and let her go ahead and let you guys watch some of those clips. Okay, like I said, all those videos are interesting, and I hope you guys enjoyed this episode on Casey Anthony, the world's most hated woman, or America's most hated woman. Um, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the Todd Theory, and I really am interested in hearing any feedback you'll have about it. This episode, make sure to leave a comment in the description, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Keep on theorizing.